I just had somebody send me this, and I'd seen it before, but it'd been a while, and I said, "Oh my gosh, I got to share this with the audience today." Confucius is a pretty smart guy. A man with four balls can't walk. Probably true. I wouldn't know from experience. Let me know what you guys think. Anyways, uh, okay. In this video, we're going to take a look at 9-year-old Isaiah from South Georgia, left-handed pitcher. Favorite baseball pitcher is Chris Sale. I don't necessarily know or agree that Chris Sale is necessarily the guy that you want to mimic pitching styles about, but we're going to look at him anyways. If you're new to the channel and you don't know who I am, I'm Coach Jason. And over the last 25 years, I've been a pitching coach at the high school and collegiate level. I run and own the Arm Pitching Development Program at 643 KC Baseball Academy, and as well as head pitching coach there. A little bit about my background. Today we're going to look at some core points for Isaiah here on baseball pitching to keep it fairly simple and uncomplicated, right? Balance and posture, and we'll go to low balance break and hand break. Then we'll mix in set stance, stride and separation, landing separation from the hips and shoulders, and then we'll do transition, energy transfer from the hip bridge, and then out through the arm, and then we'll do the throw finish and follow through. Okay, so some simple points for 9 years old. At 9 years old, what we try to do is just get a really good foundation, a really good base layer to pitch by, and then grow and work from there. So nothing too complicated. Isaiah, I hope you're doing well. I hope you're not. Maybe you're not watching this. It's a little adult humor, but I think mostly coaches and parents watching. So okay, all right. Looking at the set stance here with Isaiah, buddy. I would shrink this up a little bit and then see where this back hip is right here. What I like to do is right where it's even with the back end of the rubber is right where I'd like to go set from. So the shoulder would be back there, and then this hip would come back set. So probably bringing this foot up a little bit to here or so would be able to push that hip back and then be in a better postured position and a better load grab here. And this, with this, what normally looks like is you'll probably float back to try to get forward. So we're going to look to correct that a little bit. Hand placement looks okay from this angle. I can't tell that well. And then eyes are on frame, shoulders good, elbows, hips, ankles. So alignment in terms of where we want the body to go does look like it's set up in the right manner. And then let's go back in to the next point. So we'll go to load point here. All right, let's grab that height. It's okay. For younger ages, I'm okay with above a 50% grab. I am. You guys that follow the channel, my style of pitching, I'm trying to keep it simple as possible. A, B, C, D, E, and then just build off of that. And then as they get older, then add more complexities to it. But as long as you can handle this load point here, I feel like I don't think there's any need to change. Now, from a left-handed pitcher's perspective, you got runners on base. What we want to be careful of, something you might not know, is if the pitcher crosses this knee with this foot, okay, he cannot pick over to first base. He has to go home. Okay, so what we'd like to do is probably work a little bit more squared up to or from the first base position if there's a runner on, and then work forward from there, or a little bit back inward so we can go forward, or we can go to home plate. Okay, so something to be mindful of is that front foot and how we're getting there. Hands look okay. I like the comfortable elbows here. Good job, Isaiah. Head's on frame, ready to go. Hip looks like it wants to go with it. We're going to run downhill here like that, and we'll tackle the rest in here in a minute. I'm not a huge fan, remember, of the heel coming into the knee. Okay, I like it to be out a little bit so we can be in a little bit maybe more position of strength driving down the hill with our hip and our glute. So something to maybe look at. This angle may not be the best for me to make a decision on that at the moment. Okay, and then as we go to low balance break, yeah, I mean, that convert right here, that looks pretty good. I'm hoping that this will shoot. Now that's the bad angle, but I'd like it to shoot down here this way with this leg. At this point, I feel like we need to be grabbing. We need to be coming down with our front leg to lead out, getting ready into stride length, and separating our legs a little bit longer to our landing point. Something to look at here. Hands look okay. Might be a little inverted. One thing to be cautious about is over hunch position. So when we're pitching, you don't want to drop your back and your chest too far forward, because then everything can stay down and you end up maybe trying to pop up and then you're throwing underneath the ball versus on top of the ball. So something to watch out for there. Right now I don't have an opinion on it. We'll look at it as we go. Okay, so right here into stride. So the separation of the shoulders looks good. Yeah, I would say, like, think about and it's not like that, but Clayton Kershaw, how he's up, down, out, right? So it's kind of that style or that opinion. I just feel like I want to get this leg out a little bit away from him, and it might give him a little better dynamic balance heading down the hill as he grows and gets more comfortable with pitching. All right, so we'll head on down. Let's go back to that point here. So separation from the glove hand looks strong. Okay, and then this is a good scapular range here on the backside, and I like the fact that you have your elbow elevated up here. And then I don't necessarily like this inversion of the ball. So basically you're turning in like this to try to flip it back up. I think if we just stay on top of the ball into a nice circle or C is enough. This could put a little bit more stress into some of the rotator cuff components at the top side. Okay, I don't want to get too, it doesn't matter. Just, it could put a little bit too much more stress on the shoulder. Okay, so I think just being calmer here would be helpful, guys. All right, and then make sure we're gonna go glove hand out, and then we're getting, I think I heard like the thumbs up, and once you get the thumbs up, then we bring it back in to us. So something to we'll look at as well. Hip still in line, that looks good. I would think that we may want to, he does grab right here, but I want to see this, I kind of want to see that position of strength be held just a bit longer into separation, and maybe he's not strong enough just yet, but something to think about. Like you're in a chair, but if we want to try to like kind of push this knee away that way a little bit as we're going forward into stride length, just to be a little bit stronger coming out of the back hip. Again, that's pretty technical from a 9-year-old perspective. You guys would probably agree with me on that. So going back into this, I think this is good, but what's going to happen here is this might convert into a flip like that, and then it's going to maybe open up the chest too early. All right, and that's why I like to kind of drive out away from our body a little bit so we can open the hip a little bit more naturally, and then make sure we're not landing in a 90-degree position with our front foot. So we'll take a look at that. All right, so we're going into hip and shoulder separation. Okay, so at landing point, what I would try to do is at landing point have this shoulder still here, So we're a little anxious to throw the ball here, guys. That's what I see. I really want to get this out. So we land and we're turning at the same time. You guys see that, right? So we're here. Our chest and our foot are landing and turning at the same time. We want to separate those. So we want to land, right around like a 20-degree angle. All right. So if this is 90, this is being 45. That's a cruddy 45, right? Okay. So like 90, 45, and then yeah, probably like a 20. So I think the landing point may be good. The only thing I don't like necessarily is like the boundary line. So the way I construct this is, where your back foot is set is your boundary line, and then the width of that back foot is where you want to land in somewhere in that range. Okay, where that back foot is. He is clearly cutting across his body here, right? You can see this line here. So his direction is going this way, but he needs to throw the ball that way. So it's going to be a very inefficient throw or inefficient pitch. So something to work in is the boundary lines of where your foot is. Staying back and allowing that front hip to open more will help get to that landing point a little bit better and a little bit stronger. All right. Now, this is leaking out here, right? We already talked about because this turned out and then this turned out at the same time. So now we're asking the arm to do a little bit more work than really we want to at this point. I do like this glove hand here. I think that's good. What do they call it? Tom House, like go through the glove. I don't think that's a bad way to go. This position looks okay at the moment. I'd like to go ahead and fire this back hip. So let's get this rotated out, and then let's square up that hip. It may be a little bit early for that. It's hard for me to tell. This looks maybe a little bit low. Hard to say without looking at maybe a front view or a back view, but something to look at, Dad or Coach, whoever's doing this. Yeah, I mean, this looks a little low to me. Okay, just from the angle I have. So it's okay. I do want to clean up the direction though. And Isaiah, there's nothing wrong here. You look pretty good for 9 years old, by the way. Okay, I'm just pointing out some things to help, right? So you have good things going on here, and you have some things that maybe we can work on and get stronger at, and that's just baseball pitching. And there's no perfection. There's only a strive, or there's only the pursuit of perfection. There is no perfection in pitching. Everyone is unique and has their own style of pitching. What I like to look at is building blocks or a basis point, a foundation layer, then let the body kind of naturally go. And as you get stronger and more flexible, then you'll find more ranges or different ways to pitch. I like this arched back here, right? This looks really good. I like this converted. This is converting, this converting. So even though we could be a little bit more delayed on that left side to the landing point to drive forward and through, this is pretty good for 9 years old, buddy. All right, and then I do think I want to come up with a little bit higher. It looks like it is dropping a little bit, okay? So something to monitor, keep an eye on it. This is a very nice, strong position here. I think there's a little early disconnect from the back foot, okay? So that's a little bit more stress in the elbow than we really want to have at the moment. So just keep that in mind. Think about disconnecting the foot when the ball's in front of you, right? So when we talk about release height, think about releasing the ball around forehead height out, and then trying to release the back foot as best you can. There's guys that disconnect early all the time and are doing fine, but if we're talking about health, I think it's better to carry the ground as your friend as long as you can. All right, and now there's this roll. So you see the spine's kind of rolling that way. So that's because of the landing point and how he crossed his hips over. So he crossed up his hips. Now his back's got to fold that way to throw the ball over home plate. Okay, so we'll definitely want to maybe clean up the alignment a little bit. But not terrible. I'm gonna go. Oh, he is on the ground. Look at you. Yeah, baby. Nice job, Isaiah. Very good. Okay, so let's look at release. Dude, I don't know. This is pretty good, man. It's like 2 in a row. You guys are doing a great job in the community, building these pictures, man. You know, how cool is this that we're all coming together as a family, and like, we're gonna have so many good baseball pitchers out there. It's gonna be awesome to see all these guys grow and be like, Coach Jason, you did a video on me one time and you really sucked. I don't know that to be true. Hopefully I'm just helping, right? I care. So I want you guys to be awesome out there. I think this is okay. At the moment, I wouldn't change this position. I like where he's at throwing the ball. Coach, why are you drawing some arbitrary lines on there and saying it's okay? It's just my way of looking at things visually. I draw that pitcher's triangle to see. I like the release point. I think that's good. The head looks a little bit off to me here, like it's going towards the garage. I want to keep the eyes on point through the release of the ball. Okay, so we got through the throw. Let's get through the deceleration of it. Okay, not bad. This is pretty good for 9 years old. I want to see this hip come in. I think it's a little early to the right, so I think he's over here a little bit earlier than maybe I want to see that. I go through it, and then as he gets stronger, he'll be able to handle this position a little bit better, I believe. So nice deceleration of the arm there. That looks good. Make sure we're kind of like thumbing down a little bit and just kind of trying to get the run of the pitch into the back shoulder. So it looks okay. That leg's not bad. Nothing wrong there at the moment. And then the follow through. Okay. I mean, it's a little over exaggerated on the follow through, but a lot of it has to do with strength as well with that front leg, and your abdominal strength has to do with it too, hip and abdominal strength. So as he gets stronger, he'll be able to follow through. That's why I say, like, if you're doing base layer, you just throw the ball, stay behind the pitch as long as you can, then bring the back hip through in a straight line. That's simple. If you can keep going through with your back leg, then fine. Just be cautious about lifting up the front foot a little early and pushing the ball through home plate. I didn't see that as an issue here, but something, if for the viewing public, for the baseball community, if you see that, just kind of be aware maybe a little bit. So, and then we're down. All right, man. So again, I'm gonna wrap the video up, guys. If you're new to the channel and want more pitching instructions, please take a look at the videos I have up. I'm going to put some cards up in the video too of pitching mechanics, so you can click on those cards as they come up, or go back through the video and you go, oh, okay, you put it there. And then so some accuracy drills, and then some pitching mechanic fundamentals. Okay, guys. Well, listen, it's been fun. I hope you enjoyed my candor. Until I shoot the next video, I'll see you guys next time.